Hey everyone, it's Dr. Bell here, and I'm here to talk to you about the projects that are starting this week, and it's going to take us up through the end of the semester. There are 3 projects plus a paper. The first project is going to be your cognitive theory project. The second one is going to be the semiotics project, and then the third one is going to be the Gestalt project. This week, is going to set kind of like the standard for what these projects are going to look like. The cognitive theory project is going to be broken up into 2 parts. The first part is going to be the setup. So you have a document, everything is laid out for you, you just have to follow the direction. I'll show you that shortly. And then the next part of it, which is next week, is going to be the actual execution of the project, which is a PowerPoint presentation. And in that PowerPoint presentation, you're going to not only guide us through the thought processes and the information that you're trying to convey, but also the end product, which is going to be an art piece that you will create. The next projects, the semiotics and the Gestalt, they will not have 2 parts. They will just be one project deliverable, but you're still going to follow the same directions that you did in the first project. So, and the last one is a critique and analysis paper, and that's really you going to an art museum and just looking at a piece and really delving into it in a concise analysis. Um, I will always post examples for you guys to see. Uh, for now, I'm going to just kind of show you a little bit about what we're doing with the first project, the cognitive theory project. And in a nutshell, as you learned this week in the readings, cognitive theory is just seeking to understand the way we perceive information. And the way that this project will kind of come out is you're going to put together something almost that's like a persuasive ad of some sort or a propaganda piece. We did also learn about propaganda this week. The goal is to, create a piece of artwork or graphic design that persuades someone to think a certain way or to consider another point of view or to do something. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples. First, let me just walk you through this instructions. So basically, you're going to want to create a piece of artwork meant to persuade the viewer about a particular idea. You must decide on a target audience, about a specific message about what you're trying to convince them. Now, you got to remember, when you're talking about being persuasive, you're talking about trying to get someone who would normally not think a certain way or do a certain thing to actually do that thing. So, for instance, if you're wanting to convince someone to go to summer camp, you're really trying to, make it appealing to a kid who may want to stay home and play video games. Your job is to think of, okay, well, what kind of visual image can I convey to actually do that, to make a kid want to go to summer camp? That's just an example. Target audience is definitely going to be important. We want to know the age range, be very specific. Age, sex, level of income. In using my example of the kids going to summer camp, you'll say maybe suburban, kids from the ages of 8 to 12. Something like that. It's completely up to you. You'll write a summary. You'll go through these mental processes. By the way, when you get to this part right here, mental activities, the instructions that you have currently may read that you have to look at chapter 2 in the book. That's different. I'm going to actually post this new one. It says, after reading the sensual and perceptual theories of visual communication webpage from module 2. Please keep that in mind. That's what you're looking at. And that's where you're going to get these projection, expectation, selectivity, habituation. For these mental processes and mental activities, you only need, here's 2 minimum of 2, meaning if you want to do 3 or more of these mental processes, by all means go ahead and do that. Here, under mental activities, you're going to want to select 3 at least, so that we can kind of drill down into what mental activities were used in your project. I'm going to show you an example of a student who did this. Internet users in America, voting age that care about independent content, content creators, and people that care about independence and freedom of free speech. This is a pretty broad demographic, but it kind of covers a lot. If you say America voting age, you're talking above 18 years old, and specific demographic. So it's really up to you as far as who you want to reach. With this project, the end result ended up in a PowerPoint presentation. This is part 2, and when you do your PowerPoint, you're going to do it as though you are standing up in front of an audience speaking. You're going to have your text and your slide, which should be brief and concise, but then you'll have your presenter notes underneath that, which would be more detailed. You go to your next page, and then you just basically will you'll be able to follow the directions in the part 2 guidelines. They'll have all of the things that you need to put in your slideshow presentation. I do want you to detail your process as well. Let's go ahead. We're all artists here, so we can use a lot of different techniques in this class. It's not just about theory; it's also art. It's the intersection of art and communication. So, if you're a graphic designer, go ahead and use Photoshop, and find some images or take pictures and put together your design piece, your ad design, to persuade an audience. If you are a fine artist, go ahead and draw or paint an image and add text to it that may kind of convey the message that you're trying to get across. If you are a sculptor, go ahead and sculpt. I mean, I really leave it up to you. I want you to have fun with this. The one thing that I really want you to do is be original. Be as original as possible. If you're going to be getting images, you either take a photograph yourself, or you find a website that offers royalty-free images. I don't want you to use any Google images that are copywritten. This should be original artwork, because if you're using images that have already been used, that's plagiarism. So we don't want that at all. I think that's it. Let me see if I have anything else to show you. Oh, I wanted to show you a couple of examples. So this project, she was dealing with net neutrality. So she had a nice end result of, this is the internet without net neutrality. And so it kind of came out like this. It looks like it could be a magazine ad. We go in closer to just kind of see the different portions of it. And then, of course, at the end, if you have links, images that you've used, or quotes, you have to definitely cite them. I wanted to show you just a few other examples of messages that can be told. Here is a message about how the internet or Instagram can influence our children, especially our young girls, and how they see themselves. And this artist did a really good job, because she kind of made it look like it's actually an Instagram page, but she made all of this herself. And she took the pictures too. And the message is really, really awesome. It's beware what she sees online impacts how she sees herself. This is an ad. This is something meant to persuade you to watch what your kids are viewing, and especially your young girls, and how they're viewing themselves online. Another former student did something like this, which was pretty amazing. This is also a message dealing with school-age kids, maybe middle school-age kids, and how they're dealing with peer pressure and bullying at school. You'll see here, Mallory, age 12, why don't you kill yourself? Megan, age 13, the world would be a better place without you. And the tagline with this ad was just a part of being a kid? Question mark. Unfortunately, yeah, uh, these are things that we deal with in this day and age. And your ad, your cognitive theory piece can be as personal as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be heavy, but it does have to deliver some type of message that's going to resonate with me, the viewer, or whoever your demographic is, to want to do something or think about something in a way that you might not have thought before. Um, I'm always here if you need me. If you need any help, I will post these examples again for you guys to see if you wanted to download them yourself, just to take a look at it. But please email me if you need to talk, or if you have any questions, or if you're a little confused about the project. Okay, thanks a lot. Be blessed.